Hey Tubies, it's Psychic Bob. Well, here it is, it's Wiccan Wednesday. And I thought we would try something different for this Wiccan Wednesday. I thought we'd do a little art. So come on along. I got some beautiful canvases here, and I thought we would start with a canvas. This is a approximately 16 by 20 size canvas. And I've been thinking, I wanted to do kind of a Wiccan painting. So I thought we would do a picture of the goddess today, maybe a spiral goddess or a moon goddess. So let's play around with this and see what we can create. I'm thinking we'll start with the background, and I think we'll start with some black here. I want to make a kind of an inky black, like an inky black sky. So we're going to start with this color here. Now, one of the things I recommend is that you have a selection of brushes and definitely some water, because water helps to smooth out your brush and makes your paint go on a little smoother. And a lot of times paint is really thick when you first start it. So I'm going to just start here with some inky black across the canvas. Let's see what we can do with this here. We're just going to take our brush and just work it back and forth. Just get a nice thick coating of black. Now, people paint in different styles. Some people like to paint in, like a realistic style. I think this picture is going to be more, what's the word I'm going to say? Impressionistic. That's the word. I'm going to make it more impressionistic. So we're just going to work on coating it with this black coat. And you don't have to be too fancy about it if you do this yourself. Just take your time. Give it a nice thick coating of that black paint. Now I've added a little bit of water to this paint to thin it out, because I think we might do some layers, some undercolor, some subtle, maybe some deep purples or something like that underneath this black. So, and as you're applying your paint, don't get too worried about it being perfect, because again, you want to think about it as doing it in stages. Now, you'll notice here I haven't painted the edge of the canvases. I'll do that at the end of the painting. I don't like to do it now because occasionally I have to move the painting and I have to handle it. So we're not gonna worry about that. But you can just put if you want to try this at home, just put a coating down. It doesn't have to be black. I'm using black because I think this is going to be like a moon goddess painting. I want to have a nice inky black sky. So just take your time, give it a nice coating. I think that's about all I'm going to get for right now. I think we're going to have to let that dry for a few minutes before we get our next stage. And if you add water to it, it thins it out. It'll dry a little quicker. So there we go. All right, we're going to let that sit for a minute. Now for the next part of our painting, I'm going to use a finer brush here. As you can see, I have a whole selection of thick brushes here and thin brushes, and we're going to use a finer brush just to begin to trace an outline of our next section of our painting here. I got some paints here. I'm not sure which one I want to start with. Maybe I'll start with a lighter color. We'll start with a little bit of yellow here to outline our goddess figure. And if you're going to paint, start with a lighter color, because you can always darken it or cover it over if it doesn't work out. So we're going to start with this color. Now again, keep some water here, wet your brush down. It makes it smoother for applying stuff. I actually decided I'm going to go ahead and start with the blue instead of yellow on this one. So I'm just really feeling inspired by this beautiful blue. And I think what we'll do is we're just going to start to shape the outline of a goddess. We're just going to roughly just sketch in a head here. Now remember, it doesn't have to be perfect, because we're going to go back and refine. This is just a rough sort of sketch. And as I said, we're going to refine this. We're going to make this like how the goddess's arms reach up into the air. We're just going to reach her arms up around her. Again, this is just a rough preliminary kind of sketch. We'll refine it as we go along. We used a gentle lift into the air. Go like that. I think we'll just bring those arms around. Just roughly trace that around here. We can join them up here at the top if we want to. Just a little bit of a trace of a line here. This again is just rough outline. It's not done yet. It's going to get a lot more refined, but that's going to become the general raised arms. I think we'll bring the body down here. Taper it down to a gentle waist. We'll have some hips on our goddess. Again, don't worry about getting it perfect. Just take your time and have fun with it, because, you know, it's all about creation. It's all about the joy of creating. And so that sometimes takes some time. It's not going to be perfect right away. But that's a rough beginning of an outline of our goddess. And of course we can then go back and, as I said, I'm going to paint kind of an impressionist style. So I'm just going to use little short brush strokes here to start to fill some of this in. And you know, the wonderful thing about painting in the impressionist style is that you can kind of make it up as you go along. Now I'm sure some of the great masters would take argument with me at saying that, but I'm just gonna, you know, just add in your color little by little. Don't worry about being perfect. Being perfect takes the fun out of it, you know. Just be creative, be free when you do this, and you're gonna find that you have a lot of fun with it in the end. You know, don't worry about covering every little thing, because in Impressionism you want to kind of layer your paints. So this is just a preliminary sort of layering, which we will definitely go back and refine. Every artist has their style. I'm using kind of a blotting sort of technique. It's not fancy brush strokes, but I think it'll create a nice effect in the end. And again, don't worry about covering every single space, because again, we're going to do this in layers. So your preliminary layers can be, you know, less than perfect. But what is important is that you feel what you're doing. Think about the energy of the goddess. And you're giving form to the goddess, and so you want to have fun with that and think about the mystery of the Wicca. You know, some of you are just starting on the path of Wicca, and you know, this type of painting might be a really good way for you to get in touch with the goddess. And so as you paint and get a feel for this, you'll start to really enjoy the experience of connecting with the goddess. So I really invite you to be part of this. So now, as you can see, I finished laying down my first layer of blue, and we've got a nice outline of the goddess with her arms raised. And I've been inspired. I'm gonna add some beautiful, I've got this rich, vibrant purple, and I think that this will be great. So we're gonna dip our brush, wet it down a little bit, and we're gonna add some purple to this. I think it'll just bring out a little more texture and color. So let's just add a little bit of that purple. It's not lovely. Oh, that's working nicely. And again, just take your time with it, because you want build it up in layers. Well, I think that purple's definitely helping bring out some vibrancy to this work. And as I said, take your time with it. Don't get in a rush. Just add a little bit here and there. Just a little bit. With purple, it's such a strong color that a little bit really goes a long way. You don't have to over inundate it. So we're just going to layer a little bit of purple. Oh, my purple's getting low. I've been using a lot of purple lately. Just like a little bit of speckles of purple in here. Add some texture. And with Impressionist style painting, you don't have to have harsh edges. So if your edges, you go a little outside of them, it gets a little feathery, that's okay. That's kind of part of the style. In fact, you want to try to make sure you don't have harsh edges. I think it contributes to it. So we're going to just keep adding a little bit of this purple in here. Just see what soft effects we can get. I think that looks just spectacular. We're just building up our goddess image here, little by little. When you do this, you want to ask the goddess to be. We should have probably started with a prayer, but we can pray now. We can say, Great Mother, guide us in our work today. Help us to capture your essence, your energy. Let us receive your presence, your inspiration. If you bring the goddess into your work, you're going to have a much better go at it. Well, that purple's looking just lovely. Again, we don't have to have too much, just a little. I think it's really bringing some vibrancy to our work here. I've also got some beautiful orange here, so I think we'll add a little bit of that and see how that works. Ooh, this orange is definitely vibrant. I don't think we want to do too much of this. It's a little intense. We'll just play around with it a little bit, just a little bit here and there, just to add a little light, kind of like a firefly's glow, you know what I mean? The other night I was out watching the fireflies and I was walking and I thought, how beautiful. Now again, with this, it's so vibrant and intense, we really don't need that much. Just a little speckles here and there, I think, is about all we need with this orange, I think that just a little bit. As I say, a little goes a long way. I think that's really true with this orange. So we don't need to add too much, just a tiny bit here and there as they're going. But it's bringing definitely a luminosity and I think a dimension to our painting that is vital. So just little fireflies is what I like to call it. Just a little firefly touch here and there. And again, not too much, because it's so vibrant. Just a little goes a long way. Isn't that lovely? I think that's about all I want to add to that. Look at that. Doesn't that make the goddess come to life like she's luminous and glowing? I think that's wonderful. I'm feeling so inspired by this bright yellow. They just call it yellow, but it's definitely a luminescent yellow. I'm thinking our goddess should have a halo. Maybe a luminescent light around her head. What do you think? Let's play with that. Let's see what that might look like. Let's just dot a little yellow around her. Now remember, this is Impressionist, so it doesn't have to be flawless in a perfect circle. Just have fun with it. That's what's really important, is that you just have fun with the process of creating. And know that the gods are enjoying your creativity. Isn't that lovely? Oh, I love that. That's what our goddess needs. Our goddess definitely needs a halo. You might want to expand that a little more. You know, just fiery moon halo or sun halo, whatever halo you want it to be. You know, just experiment with that luminosity. See where it takes you. You know, it's lovely. Maybe we should add some white to that, or some orange. Well, let's think about that. I'm going to add some white to this halo. I just feel like it's just going to bring out a little more power around Our Lady's halo. You know, if you see the aura is blue or green, you can do that. Today I'm just feeling yellow and white. I'm thinking that's going to really work for us here. You know, remember, as I said, just have fun with the process. Don't get too worried if it's perfect. It'll be perfect because the goddess inspired you. You know, a little bit of white. That's just setting off that nice yellow. And again, remember, this is impressionistic, so it doesn't have to be all perfect. It can be a little fuzzy around the edges, and that's okay. Oh, I'm really feeling that. How do you guys like that? Our Lady has a beautiful halo. Isn't that wonderful? As I'm looking at her body, I feel we need a little bit of green element. I might add a little green to the body. Now, if you make a mistake like I did, I dripped white on our canvas. That's all right. You can just go back and paint over it. Actually, we need to add a little more black to this, just to darken it out. That's okay. We can just do that. Just a little black. We've got our black brush here. And look, it just fades away. Occasionally you'll have to go back. You'll find spots that you missed. Spots that need a little touch up. And so you can work on different sections of your painting as you go along. As this dries, it'll fade in and be just beautiful. So we don't have to worry too much about that. Now I'm getting inspired to add a little green here to our goddess's body. So, you know, as she's also the Earth Mother and the Sea Mother, I think just a little touches of green. Again, you don't have to do a lot. A little goes a long way. But I think that's going to add just another layer of rich texture and color to our painting. I really do. Just add a little bit in here and there. Isn't that lovely? You know, remember, as you paint, you can pray, because you can talk to the goddess and say, "Great Mother, help us to see you, to know you. Let us see your presence in nature and in the world around us." You know, as you do that, you're going to be closer to the Ancient Mother. You know, the people of old, I think, were very gifted because they had the ability to know the goddess and And you know, there's many ancient pictures and carvings of the great goddess. And I think, you know, our world has so much lost that sense of connection. I think that's about all we want to add. That's just enough green that it's bringing out some texture. So we're gonna let it sit a little while. We have to let this patch over here that I repainted dry. We've got some white bleeding through. We may have to touch that up. We can do that. Now, while our goddess's body is drying, I thought we'd work a little more on the background here. I think I want to have a star-filled sky around her. You can just take your brush and dip it in white, or if you have silver, you can do that. I think white looks nice. We're going to make a starry sky around our goddess. Oh, lovely. Just take your time and again have fun with it and let inspiration lead you. There's no one way that it has to be. Don't get intimidated. And tubies, I think I've about finished this painting. I've propped it up here. Behind it, by the way, on the wall, that's a Picasso print frame, but it's leaning up against that. But there is our goddess. You'll notice I put the stars around her. And so she has beautiful stars. It's still drying a little bit, as you can see. But that's our goddess of the moon and of the stars. And in a way, you could think of her halo as like the moon behind her. She's facing the moon or facing us with the moon behind her. However you want to see it. But I put these beautiful white stars throughout the background. And as you can see over here, it's still a little wet. It's drying. I'm going to just let it set up and dry. But there is our painting. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I have so enjoyed having the chance to come here and be creative with you guys today. And I hope this has inspired you and given you some ideas of how you can, you know, use your artistic gifts and bring more Wiccan spirituality into your day-to-day life. Now, once that dries, that's going to look beautiful. I'm going to hang it up on a wall, and I have the goddess presence with me. Isn't that lovely? Well, guys, this has been a lot of fun, and I hope you've enjoyed this video today. I hope it's given you some inspiration and some ideas to get launched on your own creative projects. So anyways, I'm so glad you're here. Listen, if you want to help me out, like this video, favorite it, share it with your friends, hit subscribe, be part of our channel. We'd love you to be here. And, you know, make sure to hit that bell, make sure you're getting updates, and tell your friends about Spirit Channel, invite them here. Well, I'm going to let the goddess dry, and we'll see, you know, where this goes. If you guys like this, maybe each Wednesday we'll undertake as part of our Wiccan stuff an artistic exploration. Let me know if you enjoyed this. Thanks so much. Love you guys. Blessed be. We all come from the goddess, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain flowing to the earth.